Okay, so this should just be a brief video. I'm just gonna demonstrate this forwarder contract which we wrote on Monday. Uh, Nothing in here is actually changed in the code here. I just couldn't test it out in the VM yesterday, and so I gave up on that. But today I'm going to actually deploy both of these on Ropsten and demonstrate how you can call the flag, or sorry, the set flag function through the forwarder, which will then forward the command into the contract test. I guess one thing I can do really quick is well, I could take a flag here. Never mind. I'm not going to modify anything. I'm just going to go with this as it is. So first we need to deploy the test contract. Oops. Oh, I need to compile first. It still has the old stuff left in there. Okay. Let's deploy the test and don't need any arguments or anything. One note here is that all Solidity variables, when you initialize them, start at the null, whatever their null value is. So a Boolean is false. When it gets deployed, I'll show that just so we can make sure it's not true. But just so you guys know, if you start a U integer, it always starts at 0. If you start a mapping, it'll everything in the, or not a mapping, but if you start a structure, everything in it will be set to 0 initially. So, and that's just part of having a deterministic blockchain virtual machine. But anyway, let's see how this mining is going. This is going to be the bulk of the video because I got to wait for this to mine before I can get the address. And once I have the address, then I can deploy the forwarder with that address as the target. One thing I can start talking about is the ABI of all this. So I should clear these because we're redeploying. This is from the first time I tested it. And I'm also going to, I guess I'm going to erase these two because I modified that first one, and I want to show you guys specifically what I did. So starting from a blank slate here, while we're waiting on this to mine, I'm going to grab the ABIs of both of these. So let's get the forwarder one first. Oh, I got to go to compile, forwarder details, copy, okay. Forwarder, ABI. And then let's get the test ABI. Okay, so let's just see if it's mined yet. Nope. Okay. So the reason we couldn't test it yesterday is because when we deployed it to the VM only gave us the option. It only offered us the, for the forwarder, we could only call the functions that were defined in the ABI. And since this set flag function of the test contract is not part of the forwarder contract, we couldn't actually access it in the VM. So what we're doing today is we're deploying the test address. We're going to deploy the forwarder, or sorry, we're deploying the test contract. And we're going to be deploying the forwarder contract with the test address as its target. And then the question is, okay, well, how do we call a set flag function from the forwarder contract so that it does forward it? You can take my word for it that if we can just successfully call that function in the forwarder contract, it will forward it to the test contract. I mean, I've tested it and we'll see that it does. That's what all this code does, but that's not really my question. My question is, how do we even form the command in the first place? Because any automatically generated interface, and which we'll see in a second, will not give us that option. So anyway, so this one looks like it's mined. Yep. So I just need to now get the address here. I can copy it from here. I could also copy it from this page if I, whoops, I need to, yeah, okay. And then I need to go to test, or no, forwarder, sorry, and then deploy with the test address as the target. Okay, so we will wait for that to mine now. And so yeah, back to this question of if the forwarder contract doesn't have this set flag function as part of its definition, how do we form the command in the first place to actually send that set flag command to the forwarder so that it does get forwarded wherever it's going to go? And the answer, which I'm happy, I just kind of guessed at this answer and it turned out to be true. You can take the function, so if we look at these ABIs, our test ABI, it's a list of two items here. One is a set flag, and we can see that it's a function under the type here. And I'm looking at the name and type of both of these. And this other one is the flag, and the type is a function. I think that's just this the automatic getter that is generated because we set the flag to true. In any case, this set flag function, that's what we want to move to this forwarder ABI. And so if I just take this, copy it, and paste, put a comma and tab. The ordering here, I'm pretty sure does not matter. I mean, I haven't really tested that, but I don't think it matters. I mean, everything is named here, so I think when this ABI is internalized into whatever consumes it, I think it's used more as a dictionary than a list, an ordered list, I should say. So I'm going to now call this the modified forwarder ABI. And now if I take this ABI, well, first of all, I'm going to go to my crypto to interact with this stuff. And we can interact with them both here, but you can see the problem here is that our forwarder does not have that function. So I'm going to go to my crypto, and we could use any interface that takes in the address and the ABI to do this. But I'm going to go to contracts. We need to put in the address, which I should capture and write down. Let me just, okay, so that's the latest one. So this has got to be the forward. This has got to be the test address. And this has got to be the forwarder because we made it more recently. That's how I'm determining that. This was 1 minute ago. This was earlier. So this has got to be the test, and this one has got to be the forwarder. I should have written those down earlier because to get those mixed up could introduce some really hard to diagnose bugs. Anyway, okay, back to my crypto. Let's get the address in here. So the forwarder address, because we want to interact with a forwarder contract, right? But for the ABI now, I'm going to take this modified ABI, and it's exactly the same, but it has an additional entry in here, which is a set flag function, and put it in here, access. Now you can see that we have this additional set flag function, and it doesn't take any arguments, so I'm just going to go to MetaMask, and yep, click write, generate, and send. I don't know, I hate that it makes you wait here. That's such a hand-holdy bullshit, whatever the fuck. Whatever. I mean, I guess everyone's worried about security and shit. Anyway. I'm going to increase the gas here just to be safe, the gas limit. Actually, I'm not. I don't think I need to. So I'm just going to verify that. But I click submit here, and now we've submitted this set flag function, and we can just look at this on Etherscan and see that indeed it is going to this 0xC98834, which is our forwarder contract. So we're sending a function to the forwarder contract that it doesn't have. I mean, or it doesn't have the bytecode to support it. And now what that's going to do is that's going to trigger the fallback function here. A lot of people talk about the fallback function is usually used, well, it's talked about in terms of it's what gets called when you send ether to a contract. And that's true, but it's also what gets called when you send any command to a contract that it doesn't have a specific function for. So that'll trigger this assembly, and this assembly is what does the work of forwarding the command to the test contract. So now all we have to do is just wait. I guess while we're waiting, I can go to the remix. Oh, I did want to show you that this flag starts out as false. So there it is as false, right? And when this gets mined now, we'll be able to click on this again and it will have changed to true. And that's the case, even though we didn't actually... Wait a minute. We have two forwarder contracts? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, that's weird. It calls us a forwarder, but it has the flag and set flag. That must be a bug in Remix. Okay, so just to avoid that confusion, I'm going to load the test contract in my crypto. I believe that's just a bug. So let's get the test address. I have a message on Slack. I'll check it in just a second. And get the test ABI. Access. Let me check that message. You don't need to copy it. You need to, so what I did is, I'll go back and look at it again. I copied the specific function that I wanted from the test ABI, and I put it, and I added it to the forwarder ABI. I could have also just used the test ABI probably, and then I would have only had access to that function. That probably would have worked, but then it would have given me the choice to the getter for the flag, for example. That probably would not have worked. Maybe that would have worked. I don't know. Maybe it would have forwarded the getter to the test contract and gotten that back. I'm not sure. But in any case, what I did is I just took the function that I wanted to call and I copied it and I added it to the forwarder ABI. So that's what I did there. Deploy is always called like the first contract in this. Oh, that's interesting. Huh. That explains the bug. In any case, so here is our, now we're looking at the test contract, and we can look at the flag and read it, and it's true. So that means this must have mined, and there we go. So that's a demonstration of forwarding a command from one contract to the next. I wish that I was better versed in this stuff, but it's just, I just have not used it. I was lucky enough to be able to use Haven's. Well, actually, to be there when they were developing their own more complex forwarding contract, and they called it a proxy contract. So I was able to just grab it from them, but this is good. And so now we can take this this forwarding functionality and we can add it to multisig. That'll be probably one of the next contracts we work on. When we can forward, we can start really defining some maybe more interesting, composite contracts that can do some action on behalf of some group, but maybe we can make it a more interesting group than just a multisig. For example, we could have I don't know, just like something crazy like a group of 5 people and one person can veto everything, or a group of 100 people, and if 30 people say to do something, or if a specific set of 3 people, we could really get crazy with that. But now that we can actually forward the transaction, that unlocks the door to all of that stuff. And I guess really this forwarder contract here is a primitive, because we are going to be putting it into other contracts. So that's pretty cool. I mean, in a way, we could count our primitives at this point. We have the forwarder, and we have 3 different wallet primitives. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, I think that closes out this video. I'm going to stop the recording right now. And thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.